Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our November all hands meeting. It is great to be here with you tonight. These months fly by, the year flies by, but we are still working to finish out 2025 with some strong organizing and results. Um, as a reminder, we do record these meetings, and these recordings do get posted to YouTube. So feel free to go to our YouTube channel. You're encouraged to subscribe. And if you feel a little out of the loop and you want to know what's been going on, you can watch all of the old meetings on our YouTube, as well as lots of other really fantastic, informative, and educational content. We are trying to build a community and a following on YouTube as well as on most social media. So please do check us out. And for anyone who may have concerns about being on video or on camera tonight, we will go through these updates and then we will stop the recording and leave room for your questions and your discussion off of the recording. So in the meantime, feel free to participate in the chat. Feel free to write down any questions that come up along the way, and there should be room for you to share without being on a recording or on YouTube. Um, as a quick introduction for folks who may be new tonight, we are Whole Washington. We are a 501c4 political nonprofit. We are the largest universal healthcare advocacy organization in the state, and we're the authors of the Washington Health Trust, which is our universal healthcare proposal. It's currently the only universal healthcare bill in the legislature, but we're also the only group that is actively building towards a ballot initiative campaign. Um, and we are members of the Healthcare is a Human Right Washington Coalition. And a lot of our work, especially over this last year, has been done in collaboration with Healthcare is a Human Right Washington and its more than 40 member organizations and 20 allied organizations. You may sometimes see the abbreviation HCHR, which we pronounce HICR. Healthcare is a Human Right Washington can be a bit of a mouthful. So you'll forgive me if occasionally I just say HICR. Um, my name is Andre Stackhouse. I'm the executive director of Whole Washington. I live in Seattle near Green Lake. My email is andre@wholewashington.org, and you can also set up a one-on-one with me using the booking link below. And I would really love to meet any and all of you, or even folks that I've worked with for a long time. You're always welcome to reach out, whether it is over Slack or email, or if you want to get some FaceTime with me in a video chat. So please don't be shy. My job is to meet all of you, get a sense of what your needs are and your interests are, and then plug you in to the most effective Whole Washington work that I can. We keep a very, very active events calendar, wholewashington.org/events. Here's some of what we got coming up this month. So a couple of events in Clark County. There will be a planning meeting on the 9th, and then a healthcare justice organizing event on the 15th, and that will be in collaboration with the local League of Women Voters. We have a virtual orientation, and we do try to hold monthly orientations on the 16th. So if you haven't made it to an orientation, we do strongly encourage it as a first or second stop on your whole Washington journey, and it should help make a lot of this stuff more accessible. We also have been in a series of universal healthcare stakeholders meetings, which have been taking up a fair amount of our updates in these all hands. So we'll be talking about that tonight as well. But the next one is on the 17th. We have a community town hall in person in Belfair. So we try to regularly hold town halls as well, often virtual, but we're always happy to go in person to your community to host one. And that's something that you can coordinate with us. And then we are building out a regional and county leadership structure with coordinators, and they do meet monthly. And the next one is on November 25th. So if you're looking to get more involved in your county or region and plug into the stuff that's not happening on Zoom, but happening in person, that is a great place to go. And Jessa from our board of directors isn't here this month, so I will just give a quick board update. But our board of directors meets on the third Thursday of the month from noon to 2. The next one is on the 20th. Anyone is welcome to join. These are public meetings. And so if you're trying to get a little bit more plugged into the strategy and the decision making at Whole Washington, please join. The board is always recruiting. We are currently hoping to fill an assistant secretary position. And so that position, along with any others that we're trying to fill at Whole Washington, is available at wholewashington.org/apply. Couple additional updates. Jessa Davis has been on the advisory board for a while, and at the last meeting was officially moved into the role of secretary. So our secretary, Jason, stepped down, and fortunately, because we've been building out this advisory board, because we've had a few people step up and say, I'm interested, we didn't have to do a sort of emergency onboarding. Jessa was very, very ready. And so with no downtime at all, we were able to appoint a new board secretary, and that is fantastic. And that actually is the way that we do board recruitment is we always have folks join on the advisory board first so they can spend some time getting to know how we do things, building up the skills they need to be on the board. And then when there are openings on the board of directors, we can consider people from the advisory board to be moved into those positions. And you should be seeing some more announcements on this soon. Mahathi is on our advisory board and will very soon be our new treasurer officially. And Kara, who is in Spokane, is on track to be our assistant treasurer. So we're always looking to build a couple of layers of redundancy as well, because the board of directors is all volunteer positions. It is a fair amount of work that the board does. It depends on the role. Advisory positions are not as much work, but we're always looking to build a mutual support structure in which we have a good number of people who know what's going on, who know the different skills that are required for the different roles, and can step in when we don't have people around or when we have a new vacancy open up. The other thing is that Whole Washington is a 501c4 social welfare organization, but we are looking to add a 501c3 charitable nonprofit arm to our organization soon, and we're working with Sustainable Seattle to be a fiscal host, which in short allows us to sort of lean on their infrastructure and effectively have a small subsidiary of Sustainable Seattle while being able to benefit from their 501c3 status. And we've been trying to make this official for a good while now. We've been working on it with them since the summer, but they have said that they should have an update for us by the 12th of this month. So fingers crossed, this all hands meeting next month, we'll be talking about how we are officially 501c3 status as well as 501c4 status. And we're really hoping that we'll be able to do a lot of really amazing things with our 501c3 in January. We can talk more about what those things are soon, but a lot of what this will enable us to do is related to fundraising. I did want to also add that we are members of the Nonprofit Association of Washington, and so there are tons of nonprofits that are in this. Everything from, a small crafting community to large political organizations like Whole Washington. And this is really a hub of expertise. There are tons of resources, events, and networking opportunities. So the reason that Whole Washington is a member is so that we can learn and we can grow and we can make connections with nonprofit professionals who know more than us. And the wonderful thing about it is that most of their resources are available online for free. And the ones that aren't, we may still be able to get you into for free because Whole Washington is a member. And so those events tend to be either discounted or free to member organizations. So you're strongly encouraged to check out the Nonprofit Association of Washington and see if there are things that catch your attention. A few upcoming things this month. They do have regular new members calls. They have QuickBooks Fundamentals 3-day webinar. So you could, even if you already know QuickBooks, a 3-day webinar is an opportunity to learn more. A nonprofit innovation summit great for developing board leadership, and then an event called Let's Go Legal, which is all about understanding the legal requirements of nonprofits and learning how to maintain compliance. And so, again, we may shout out things coming up through the Nonprofit Association of Washington regularly, but everyone should know that we are members of this association and that there may be some interesting stuff in there to check out. I would love to well, if she is available and comfortable with giving this month's update, I would love to hand it over to Mahathi to give us a little update on our fundraising.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. I'm Mahathi. I am the advisory board member of Whole Washington, hopefully soon to be treasurer, and I'm going to be giving this month's fundraising updates. We usually give an update for the past 2 months just to give a more complete picture of what fundraising has been looking like. So for September, we had 116 individual donations, with each donation averaging out to about $21. And we raised a total of $2,474, um, of which 11% was one-time donations and the rest were recurring. And of that total, we raised the majority on a platform called Act Blue, which kind of tends to be more left-leaning, democratic, and then about $183 on Anadot, which kind of leans more like right-wing Republican, broadly speaking. And then in October, we had 124 individual donations come in, so a little better than September, with each donation averaging out to $32. And we raised a total of almost $4,000. With about half of those being one time and the other half being recurring. Again, the majority of the donations came in through Act Blue, about $3,837, and $161 coming in on Anadot. And one thing that we've been talking about in board meetings is to do with the fundraising platforms that we do offer. So, as mentioned, we currently use ActBlue and Anadot to fundraise. We've been discussing offering other platforms such as Action Network or Stripe. We've been discussing maybe getting rid of Anadot. So these are all just things that we've been talking about. I just wanted to open it up for any input. If we feel like we should maybe consolidate fundraising to one platform, or maybe just offer as many platforms as we can to bring in as many donations as possible. So if you have any input on that, feel free to let us know in the chat or over Slack. And the last thing is that we are always actively recruiting people who are interested in fundraising for us. So if that's something that you might be interested in, or you just have some input you'd like to give on the way we fundraise, please just shoot us an email or a message over Slack.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Mahathi. Um, Yeah, and I will just quickly add that, as always, a reminder that our ability to run a successful initiative campaign is highly contingent on our ability to fundraise considerably more than where we are from today. In fact, over the next year, it may have to be something close to a 10 times growth from what we did. 2025 is not over yet, but we're talking about a significant increase in our fundraising. And that is something that we're in a good position to do. Not that it's easy, but with our new treasurer and assistant treasurer helping us do more planning and oversight, with our second gala, which we'll talk about in just a moment, and with our C3 status. But as always, I just want to thank everyone who has donated to Whole Washington, whether you've been sustaining us since 2017, or if you're one of the new donations that came in October and helped us achieve this growth that you see here. And as always, if you can afford to donate, whether it's a first time or a small increase of your recurring donation, it all helps us get there. So thank you very much. And I will talk a little bit about the gala, because gala Our first gala we held in May of this year, and it was by far the largest fundraiser that Whole Washington has ever done. And we are really, really working to have a even more successful gala this year. Starting with, we now have a official chair. Amy really, really helped us throw a fantastic gala last year, a kind of late addition to the team, but a person who came in who had some real event planning experience and really had a vision for how to make it a fantastic gala. And it came in hot, but it was frankly amazing. We were so pleased with the result, and so it only made sense to make Amy the official chair. We have more budget for the gala this year, and so Amy has a bit of budget to work with, which is great. Um, and we are very, very excited that we are far ahead of where we were this time last year in terms of planning, including that we have a date confirmed for May 16th and a location, the Youngstown Cultural Arts Center in West Seattle. And so Gala Committee meets every 2 weeks, Thursdays at 4 p.m. I see that I didn't update the date there. So the next one is not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. Um, and anyone who is interested in being on an event planning team, has event planning experience, and wants to help us make this event successful, but also other Whole Washington events successful, please do join these meetings. It's the best way to get plugged in. And so we have some really exciting other announcements this month, starting with a really, really groundbreaking endorsement. So this one is kind of interesting because technically this endorsement happened quite a while ago. It took us a while to confirm it with their team, but we finally got the hard confirmation in writing that we needed. And so now I'm very excited to announce that the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the Local 46, so more concisely known as IBEW 46, has endorsed Whole Washington. And so they are located in Kent, and they have represented workers for over 100 years, and they are only our second union endorsement, the first of which being SPIA, which specifically endorsed the Washington Health Trust and the bills that we have in the legislature. And I can review to be certain, but I'm pretty sure that this endorsement from IBEW is a dual endorsement of both Whole Washington, the organization, but also the Washington Health Trust. So we are very, very excited to see growing labor support. This is something we've worked very, very hard at. We've talked a lot about different types of progress we've made with labor this year, but I just wanted to use the opportunity to shout out wholewashington.org/labor is a web page that we have set up. It is entirely dedicated to labor outreach. So all of our best materials related to labor and the way that universal healthcare we see as an integral part of the labor movement is collected on this page. But most importantly, there's a form on there. And whether or not you've already signed up as a volunteer or on our mailing list, if you submit this form, it lets us know what labor union you're in. So if you're a union member, please go to this page. Please fill out the form. Let us know what union you're in. And that's really going to help us provide the basis of a labor organization within Whole Washington that helps us go to these unions, come up with an individualized plan for each one, meet them where they are, figure out how we can build their support for universal healthcare. So we passed resolutions in individual unions all throughout the state last year, and it culminated in a big statewide resolution at the labor convention this summer. And that's something that we can continue to do this year. And our coalition, Healthcare is a Human Right, is also now hosting monthly labor tables. The next one on the 25th at 5:30 on Zoom. And so that gives us a place where you can invite, labor members that you think may be interested or that you're trying to get interested. So while we don't have our own meetings currently scheduled around this stuff, we're hoping to direct people towards Healthcare is a Human Rights labor tables, and that becomes the best way to come in through Whole Washington and get plugged in to the labor movement. And we could really use more support here. I know that with thousands of people in our mailing list, there are tons of them that are labor members that we don't know about. So help us identify them and help us get them plugged in. Okay, and now I have some updates on the whole Washington brand. I'm very excited about these. Um, and as you can see here, these updates came after testing out just tons of different combinations. And uh, I also went back across our brand history using the Wayback Machine, found our very oldest logo way back in 2017. I don't know who made these previous logos. I wish I could credit them. That may be something we can look into, but you can see that way back in the day, we started with this stethoscope kind of wound in the shape of an apple. It was very low resolution. It had this kind of photo realistic quality to it. And so at some point, we designed this much more detailed and graphic logo with Whole Washington, universal healthcare for Washington State integrated into that logo. And then for the last couple of years, we've been using this slightly more simplified version that just says Whole Washington, universal healthcare. And I will just say, we have been struggling, I think, with consistency as well as balancing detail with simplicity, and providing the right information in the right contexts. Um, you can see that we have used this in many different ways. And so we have different promos, some of which integrate our logo in different ways. You can see the stethoscopes not always going in the same direction, and that there's been a need for more simple logos at smaller sizes. So that's where the whole WA logo comes in, or even just a simple apple or heart. And so our goal was to come up with something a bit more simple, a bit more modern. Um, and so the way that I did this was starting with that detailed logo on the left and the very simplified logo on the right, and kind of walking them to the center, trying to pick the best qualities from each one until we were able to land on something that seemed like it really combined the best qualities, and helped us consolidate on something more like not necessarily a single logo, but just something a bit more consistent. And so we worked on different details to simplify out. We wanted to keep at least some of the slogan. And so the other thing is, Whole Washington's brand color has been red. We've used a couple of different reds, and they've all been really very, very intense. And it can be very, very difficult to work with a super bright, vibrant red. And so, as part of some of our efforts to uh, take on a more professional look, increase our accessibility, what we did was we took a couple of different reds and we darkened them down to a certain contrast ratio. And after looking at a couple of different versions, we decided to stick with our current red, but take it down to a slightly darker shade. And I'm kind of happy that the way that it worked out is it kind of reminds me of like a red delicious apple, which I think is the kind of apple that we would imagine the whole Washington apple to be. It's very associated with Washington State. Not my favorite apple, but a good apple for branding nonetheless. And so where that leaves us is this. You can see it in that new red. We picked out a couple of new fonts that were um, adopting a sort of rounder shape language. So you can see just some subtle rounding on these fonts. They are also free and open source fonts, which helps us avoid issues with access or intellectual property rights. And then we integrated the logo into the name, and all we did from our current logo was we added that 4 in the middle. So we ended up with Whole Washington for Universal Healthcare, which allows it to be a complete statement. So you may, if you've been on the website today, seen that this is now in our footer, and it works across a number of different types of formats and styles. And so you can see that these are really just the same promos and logos that we had across all of those different, all of that logo history, but now with one kind of consistent shape with the Apple stethoscope and different ways of integrating it into the name Whole Washington. And so we're excited that we can start updating things like our literature and our merchandise using this. And at the end of the day, it's a relatively modest update to our logo, but we think provides a cleaner shape. It's a little bit easier to read this as that stethoscope looping around, and a slightly clearer slogan as well in a nice new dark red. So very excited to share that with you all. Okay, great. So now we can move into team meetings, starting with an update from the comms team, which Rhonda will be delivering.
Sorry, I thought I was in a different order. Um, so just give me a second here. So, hey, everybody, great to be here. Um, I'm Rhonda Gilligan. Let's just move to the next slide if we can, Andre. Or do I have control?
Oh, sorry, I can do next slide. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, hi. I am the communications director here for Whole Washington. It's a role that I've been in for a little while, but I don't think I've met everybody here, even if you've been around for a while. I haven't been able to make this meeting. So I really wanted to use my time tonight to just kind of introduce myself and the comms team, what we're about and what we work on. So, I'm out here in Redmond, Legislative District 48. I am currently retired and used to work in design, UX design, and content strategy. So, looking for something to do with my time in retirement that utilized those skills for something I really believe in. And like you, attended one of these town hall meetings, was inspired by Andre, took him up on his offer to reach out and meet, and led me to here. So super excited for our movement, for our progress, and to play whatever part I can in bringing this home. So I thought what I would do is just kind of go through a little bit of a background. What is a communications team about? Like, what do we do? And so basically, we are creating messaging strategies and the materials that reflect those strategies for both our internal and external audiences. So we are looking to make sure that all of our volunteers have easy access to the information, materials that they need, that they have a way to get questions answered, and also that they are telling our stories to their various regions and through their various efforts in alignment so that we can really put together a unified messaging story that everybody can tell. We're also looking to do that for what I think of as a kind of our external audiences. So the press, the unions, as Andre was talking about, the politicians whose interest we're hoping to and endorsements we're hoping to gain. So we're doing the same thing there. How can we make sure they understand what we're about, what we're doing, why we're doing it, how it's going to help people, so that we can continue moving the ball forward. Um, we want to influence public opinion and drive support, and that's okay. And work. I just wanted to call out, we can't do this without the close cooperation and collaboration of our partners and team members on the graphics teams, the website team, the data teams, and all of the other volunteer teams, the volunteer team itself, coordinating with us so that we're all going after the same priorities. Okay, now we can go, Andre. So this is just kind of a little compendium I put together of some of the stuff we've been working on recently. And what I'm really excited about is that we've really been working to kind of raise the bar and to create more of a standardized experience. And this extends to every communication touch point that we have with you and with our external users, from updates to our pages. I hope you guys have been on the website. You may have noticed if you click on a lot of the pages off the top nav, you're going to be seeing updates. We've been adding photography at the top and banner headlines, and really trying to use both visual and words to create emotive stories. We're doing that in emails. You guys probably got this Universal Healthcare is pro-labor email from Andre, and one of my absolute favorites. I love this picture. We have our newsletter. We're even working on things like panels to stand at the Puyallup Fair, press releases, social media, both posts and videos, and new banners on our homepage, tons of other stuff that I couldn't fit on here. But I think it's all very exciting. It's very fun. It's very creative. And the goal here, for me is to ensure that as we continue to grow as a movement, as we have people like the mayoral candidate of Seattle endorsing us or unions endorsing us, and more attention is coming our way, that it's, we're polished and focused and ready to be impactful. So we can go to the next slide. Andre?
Can you not see it?
There we go. There we go. Thank you. So I do want to say that, hopefully you've noticed some improvements, but there's a lot more to come. We're really just getting started. We're getting our processes in place. We're working on coming up with priority calendars and schedules so that we can really get ahead of communications. But some of the things that I'm the most excited about actually have a little less to do with the communications themselves and with our organization. The first is this expanded use of data and analytics. We've been really fortunate to have some additional volunteers joining our teams who bring data knowledge background and some of the tools knowledge. And so, we're starting to really be able to look at doing A/B tests where you literally put up two versions of something and see which one worked the best. And then you can lean into that one. So you can start using actual data to make decisions, which is the best way to do it. And we're also improving our analytics, thanks to those same partners, to inform our strategies. The second thing is that I'm looking forward to is getting more feedback from all of you. We really, really want to make sure that you're getting from us what you need, that you have easy, immediate, quick, and clear access to messages, graphics, events, campaigns, news. So the first thing I'd love to ask each of you to do is check out the question of the month on Slack. That's a little channel that I've set up, takes seconds to answer, but we're really trying to build an understanding of who you all are. That's going to help us figure out how to get more people involved, and it's going to give us a lot of insight into who our volunteers are and how we can best help them. I'm also going to start looking at having some surveys after meetings like this or other of our meetings so that you can give us your feedback because it's all about you. And then lastly, I'm looking at growing our team. We have big ideas, we have big goals, we have the support of this organization, of Andre, of the board. Now all we need is really more people. So if you like to write copy or create graphics or think about email campaigns or how to build a priority strategy, we would love to have you on our team. And you can reach out to me directly on Slack, Rhonda Gilligan. And I would love to talk with you, or you could just join our meetings. We meet from 10 a.m. to 11:30 every Tuesday, so tomorrow morning, and would love to see you there.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thomas is, I don't know if Thomas wants to give the social media update this month, and maybe it's a quick one. So I will go ahead and give this one because I think last I saw the username, it still said can't talk today. But social media is actually probably going to be its own team soon. We have actually integrated social media into comms for now, but so we don't quite have a announcement on a new social media team, but it is always growing. We are looking for more content creators as well as people just to help like and share and promote things on Reddit. A few of our platforms need more attention than others. So for instance, Twitter is one where we could really use somebody who's deep in that platform to help us sort of re-engage on platforms that we may have disengaged from. And then people who can create content. So there's a sort of difference between being the ones who post the content or plan the content or schedule the content versus the ones who make it. But if we all come together, we can build a very strong social media presence. Some of these positions are currently available on the apply page. And even if you're not interested in getting involved per se, please do follow us on social media. We're on all of the major platforms, and building those followings is a really critical way to help us grow. Okay, I wanted to call out a couple of organizing successes from this month. So last month we talked a lot about our No Kings planning, and we were very successful. I think we probably got people out to 10, a dozen more No Kings events all across the state. I was in Seattle, downtown Seattle, along with some familiar faces. And we also had a in-person volunteer retreat in Vancouver on the 26th. And so we try to host regular in-person volunteer retreats. We host them around the state, and that helps us connect with folks who may feel that they need that little push to get involved. And so it was a long day event in Vancouver. I got to meet some people for the very first time, even people who I may have worked with online for years. So that was great. We talked about different kinds of organizing, the different types of organizing personalities that get synthesized into a broad strategy. And so this is really going to help us visualize and conceptualize different types of action and different types of ways whole Washington can engage in this. Sometimes it's in a meeting and in a coalition, or even in Olympia, and other times it's on the street. It's making some noise and getting some attention, engaging the media or the public. And so these retreats are a space where we can get a bit more involved. We also continue to organize on campuses. So Thomas and I were able to do a volunteer fair at Bellevue College. We were able to talk with a lot of students. Actually, Bellevue College has a really, really nice distribution of bulletin boards. So I was able to use up all of my posters and not even hit all of the bulletin boards, but got them all over campus and were able to distribute lit and swag to a lot of people. You might recognize this poster. It is very similar to the one we did at University of Washington the month before, but it was very easy to swap in the Bellevue College logo. So this is something where we can very easily make something that is targeted towards a specific university. And kind of like the labor page, we have a page set up for students. And so like the labor page, if you are a student, please go to wholewashington.org/students. Submit the form there. Let us know what school you're at. Tell us a little bit more about ourselves. And this is really going to provide the basis for us to build a student movement for universal healthcare. And so we have a Discord set up with channels for all of the different campuses in Washington. We're looking at reaching out to student clubs. We're looking at recruiting campus organizers on almost every campus in the state. And we are open to working with students or departments on things like creating a capstone project or internship, or if you're at the graduate level, there's really no reason it couldn't be a thesis or dissertation. This is work that you're able to learn a lot through, and may even be able to assist with your professional or academic development. And there is tons of academic work that can be very valuable to the movement. So this is part of how you can plug into the universal healthcare movement. Okay, an update on the Universal Healthcare Commission and some other kind of more legislative types of things. So Washington State's Universal Healthcare Commission meets monthly. The next meeting is this Thursday, the 6th. That is their Financial Technical Advisory Committee. And it is from 2 to 4:30. You can still sign up to provide public comment. You can also leave a written comment, but they have to be submitted 2 weeks ahead of time to appear in the meeting packet. So if you submit a written comment now, it'll actually appear in the next meeting's meeting packet. And the last Universal Healthcare Commission meeting for the year will be in December on the 11th from 2 to 5. And the FTAC, the Financial Committee, only meets on Zoom, but the main commission meetings, like the one in December, are always an opportunity to actually attend in person in Olympia as well. So we continue to ramp up our engagement with this commission to push them to recommend something like the Washington Health Trust. And it seems, fingers crossed, it looks like momentum is picking up in this commission. But regardless, we remain very plugged into their work. And this actually relates to our legislative team. So we have built a new legislative team that meets weekly on Thursdays at 2 p.m. The Slack channel is Team Legislature. And some of the things that we did this month were we joined the Healthcare as a Human Right Coalition. They had their own hybrid retreat. And so this was a space for us to have some very in-depth conversations with our coalition partners. And then we've also been in this series of universal healthcare stakeholder meetings. These have been called by Senator Bob Hasagawa, who is our main sponsor in the Senate. And we just had the second one, I think about a week or two ago. And so this is where we're really bringing in the biggest stakeholders on the healthcare system to really co-develop with them legislation and buy-in. So this legislative team still is recruiting leads as well as coordinators in just about every legislative district in the state. So that's whether you're talking about the 10 congressional districts or most of the state legislative districts, as well as a couple of additional ones for offices like the governor or our 2 senators. So if you're looking at getting involved in a sort of legislative advocacy role, or you're a policy developer, you want to learn more about different healthcare policy, please join this team. The next Universal Healthcare Stakeholders meeting is on the 17th. We're hoping it will be hybrid. We're working to expand our list of stakeholders. So if there are people or organizations that you think should definitely be included, let us know. And we are developing we're reviewing and developing both existing and new legislation. And so we have a whole legislative development document that we can link and that you can dive into, see what's under development, see what you can contribute to it. And at the end of the day, this is all about finding out what our partners are willing to back, what we can push forward, both in the short, medium, and long term. And so any way you can help us build buy-in, whether that's from a policy development standpoint or from just getting us into the right meeting with the right person, these are all things that we do through our legislative team. And then some updates on our regional teams. So we continue to try to build out a regional structure, and you can see that we have coordinators in 4 of the 7 regions that we have outlined for Washington. We are still recruiting coordinators in the Southwest region, the Central region, and the Southeast region. And they may have somebody who's currently serving as kind of a placeholder, but we're hoping to find a dedicated regional coordinator for those 3 positions. And a similar story at county level. We have expanded our coverage to some extent. So I believe this month we added Island County and San Juan County, which is actually very exciting because now the Northwest region is 1 county away. That is the Skagit County. And so we may very soon have a region that is completely filled out with a regional coordinator as well as county coordinators in each county. But you can see that not every region is in the same place. Central region still recruiting both a regional coordinator and coordinators in every county. So if you're looking at this and you're like, my area is looking a little sparse, stepping up to be a coordinator could be a really impactful way to get involved with whole Washington. And whatever your level of experience is, we are here to meet you and support you. And certainly having somebody standing in as coordinator is better than having nobody. And skills can be learned along the way, or we can find a new person to help support you or even take over the role. So don't feel like it needs to be something that you're committed to forever and have to have all of the skills to do it. It's really a matter of getting started. And there are a number of other positions that are still open on our apply page. So we are looking for somebody to help us manage logistics, which is namely helping us keep track of our stuff and helping us move it around the state to make sure that it's available in the right place to the right people at the right time. Doesn't mean you have to do it, but helping us keep track of it helps us get it there. Graphic designers, we really only have a couple of people doing graphic design, and there's really no limit to how much we could produce. People really, really engage with graphic content, and so we really could. There's no limit to the number of graphic designers we need. Event coordinators, we've got a great little crew that has helped us plan better events, but again, more event coordinators means we can do more events. So there's not, getting people in a new location that we don't currently have a coordinator is another way to help us do more events so that not everything is being planned from a mile high and far away. Fundraising is an area where we need a lot of support. We don't have a ton of people helping us with fundraising right now. So help us build this team out. And then I have economist here, but really any sort of qualifications around policy development, whether that be public administration or economics, or maybe you're just the kind of person who enjoys reading bills and legislative reports. If you're interested in diving in at that level, we could really use you as well. And so that's basically it for this month. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we can break off for discussion.